I should, right? I'm an alumni from everywhere. And by the way, if you're new and you heard about Narcotics Anonymous in treatment, Hospitals and Institutions, which is one of the committees in Narcotics Anonymous, has the lowest relapse rate in all of recovery. You know, and one of the things that I started doing was taking these meetings and panels back into institutions, into prisons, into hospitals, and into detoxes. And, you know, I have a panel up at the VA, which is the Veterans Administration. And, you know, it's a really strange thing because, you know, you get in a room about this size, right, full of soldiers, you know, and you pick a topic like surrender. You get dirty looks. And the room gets really quiet. Especially Marines. But one of the greatest illustrations of surrender that I'd ever heard came out of one of those experiences. If you ever watch a soldier surrender, the illustration's perfect. You'll see him take the rifle, lay it down on the ground, sit down on the side of the road, wait for someone to tell him what to do. When you got 40 AK-47s pointed at your head, you don't throw down the gun with an attitude. What's your relationship to narcotics, huh? You get caught looking at the gun, you know someone's going to put a cap in you, right? Am I looking back at narcotics? Am I looking back at the magic that I once found? See, because if you have that reservation as an addict like I did, life has its moments. And for those very moments, I am willing to give my life to recapture and recreate the magic that I once found in the bag. That sense of freedom, that sense of peace, that sense of unity, that spiritual connection, that magic that I once found. And my experience shows me that unless I can find that freedom and that balance and that focus that I sought through narcotics, through the 12 steps, there's no way I'm going to stay here. Now, there was a guy by the name of Dr. Harry Tebow, who was one of the contributing members to some of the original literature, and he talked about the difference between compliance and surrender. And I think you can look him up on the internet. And, you know, I had been in compliance to Narcotics Anonymous for years, doing it for sober living, doing it for the judicial system, doing it for the parole department, doing it for family services. Where I live on the west side, they do it for the trust fund. But see, that concept of surrender, very much like that soldier that lays down that rifle, is unconditional. And I had to look at my relationship to narcotics, that I couldn't stop once I started, that I couldn't stay stopped on my own, that I couldn't stop without a spiritual experience. And I had this mind that always takes me back. And for me, there was a huge difference between the act of surrender that got me into the program and into Narcotics Anonymous over and over and over again, and the state of surrender that's keeping the old timers here. It's a completely different concept. It's kind of like watching a swan glide across a pond of still water. It looks so graceful. It's so effortless. It's so smooth. It's beautiful. But you know what's going on under the water, right? He's paddling like hell.